Hi, I'm Koo. This is George. In my world, he runs an ice cream parlour, but he's not my invention. In fact, he's originally an Iron Gate Easter egg, and for that story, we need to start from the beginning.
Let all who read me beware of the Greydwarfs, the skulkers in the darkness, the soulless ones. They are born from rot and rainfall. They spring like mushrooms from the smoking soil. There is nothing on their tongues or behind their eyes, and those who fear nothing should still fear them. When the soul of a murderer or a great sinner rots under the ground, it makes a hollow cyst, which draws rock and wood and moss to it. It gathers up the peat into flesh, braids reeds into bone, and takes rags for skin. It should not walk. But when the night comes, it walks. Should you who read this see one with a sword to your hand, lance it and let it out, or put it to the torch, for it fears the flame.
So what are the Greydwarfs? Because as far as I can tell, Iron Gate didn't pull them from Norse mythology. They pulled them from somewhere much more unexpected. A Swedish children's book. Ronja, the Rövardotter by Astrid Lindgren, the same woman who gave us Pippi Longstockings, appears to be where the Greydwarfs are first mentioned. And if you want to see what that story looks like inside of Valheim, I did a whole video on it. Fair warning though, I have learned a lot about editing since then. George himself first appears in an Iron Gate video back in January 2020.
With me, David.
A fun nature documentary from Grimcore about a grey dwarf getting separated from his parents. And the name stuck. Dozens of creators began calling grey dwarfs Georges in their videos, until we all sort of forgot why we called them George. Just like we've forgotten why we call trolls friends. And it wasn't until the Bog Witch update that Iron Gate followed through on the community in-joke. There is a grey dwarf sat outside the Bog Witch's hut. He looks like a cool detail and nothing more, except for what his animation effect is named in the game code. His animation, his little kicking feet on his log, is called George Vibing. The community in-joke continued years after the fact, with an Easter egg few would notice. But notice we did. I learned about George's addition to the game from other creators while working on the first Valcon. I'd just been inspired by other builders to make an ice cream stall in the game, and the infamous script wizard Dakar offered to spawn in George to Grey Dwarf, the stall. He even gave him some lines of dialogue to greet people with. Though to be honest, the scripting process did get a little weird for a second there. I had picked up the community torch for George, and by George, I was going to run with it. When Lemon Freud posed me the 10 by 10 meter build challenge later that year, and I rolled the cooking station as my theme, I knew I only had one choice. George needed more than a stall. George needed to commit to the ice cream business, and commit he did. Though maybe he committed a little too hard.
Oh, George, what have you done?
This brings us to now. George made another appearance at Valcon, but more importantly, I think he's made another appearance in Irongate's videos. In the third tale of Herva Bloodtooth, released last year, which I'll show you a spoiler-free clip of now, there he is, frozen in the ice. Who else could it be but our beloved George, wandered away once more, far from the care of the Bog Witch? What if George didn't wander? What if he was sent? The Bog Witch, keeper of ancient knowledge, dabbler in things she probably shouldn't dabble in, needed ingredients. Specific ingredients. The kind you can only find at the edge of the world. So she sent her most trusted Greydwarf north, armed with a shopping list and absolutely zero survival instincts. He made it further than anyone expected. He always does. He just needs someone to finish the job and bring him home. Although, I will say, if I know George, and at this point I'd argue I know George, I don't think he went purely out of loyalty. Because the Deep North is full of untapped, completely uncharted, perfectly preserved frozen ingredients, and there is not a single ice cream parlour for hundreds of miles. George didn't just run an errand, George spotted a gap in the market. He's in that ice voluntarily, perfectly chilled, waiting for the right Viking to crack him out and hear the pitch. He's got a business plan. He's got investors lined up. He has, against all the odds, a dream, and that dream is ice cream. It was always ice cream. Either way, I think George has found something, and I think that Irongate wants us to find out what. And if you are enjoying the delicious buffet of spoilers out there right now, let's just say I think there's a piece of this puzzle mentioned in another video. So I hope you'll join me in this community tradition of shaping a silly in-joke between us and Irongate. What do you think happened to George? Will we be able to thaw him out? What might he have found? Let's write some stories together, and maybe one day soon we'll get to find out just how far north Irongate has taken our in-joke.